Thanks, Lynn. I'm going to talk about innovative conservation practices that the Mercer Soil and Water has installed over the last couple years. All right, the first thing I'm going to talk about is cascading waterways. These were constructed in 2023. We installed approximately 700 feet of linear waterway. You can see the wetland pool areas in that top right that we constructed and excavated out. This was done through the Gulf Hypoxia Grant. It cost about $40,000 with 100% cost share. Wright State Lake Campus received an additional grant to monitor these to see what kind of impact they have on the water quality coming through that waterway. There's very little research out there on these systems to date. Ohio State is working on some, along with this ongoing Wright State study. The water holding capacity may be the main benefit. Those pools will fill up, as you can see on the bottom, and hold that water back during the season when it's full. Helps it slowly drain out through a tile along the side, and then it also evaporates off since they're very shallow. Waiting to see what kind of nutrient data. With last year, we didn't have much rain, as everyone knows, so they didn't discharge until the end of the year as far as that goes. And OSU is doing more research on that, and I think Steve Lyons is on the schedule for tomorrow. All right. This is the first cascading waterways we installed. We did this in 2018. That top left picture showed what the waterway looked like prior to our installation. A little bit of erosion going on there. We utilized Great Lakes sediment and nutrient reduction funds, the Glisner project, showing that. Bottom picture shows another one that was completed in 2024 using the same kind of or same funds. Landowners received approximately 75 to 90% cost share. The Glisner requires 25% match. The Soil and Water provided most of that match with their time and labor as far as the design and the engineering for the project and overseeing the construction. We've completed a total of 5 of these cascading waterways in the last 4 or 5 years, with most of them done in the last 2 years. Very similar to those, just a standard grassed waterway, but it does take a little bit of extra dirt getting excavated out to create those pools. Currently, that is not a CRP program, that they're eligible for CRP program, but we're kind of hopeful at NRCS and FSA can get that to work. Data forthcoming from Wright State. Hopefully by the end of the year, we'll have some good data as far as showing what they do. The next kind of project I want to talk about is a modified blind inlet. We've seen typical blind inlets where to replace Hickenbottoms out in the field, the surface risers to help reduce silt and sediment getting into our tile systems and fertilizer. So we decided that we were going to try this with some WASCOBs, water and sediment control basins, this last year. We installed 4 of them on a farm in northwest Mercer County. We installed metal shavings in the top of the top of the blind inlet for water quality, along with the pea gravel. Happened to be a situation that worked out. We did a little bit of excavation, a little bit of berming to hold that water back. The landowner had some erosion going on, but didn't really need a full-blown grassed waterway out there. The goal is that that water sits on top of that blind inlet for water quality and slowly releases through the tile, lets that iron shavings react with the water to reduce some of the nutrients in it. This was done through the GLRI funding through Ohio EPA. The 4 of them cost about $37,000 along with the WASCOBs. We used about 10 ton of metal shavings and then around 500 tons of number 4s and pea gravel for the project. Drainage water management, not necessarily a new practice, but Mercer County's landscape doesn't typically lend itself to drainage water management. We're not flat enough, which I know sounds weird in Western Lake Erie Basin, but we've got too much roll being at the top end of that watershed since our water goes 3 different directions. So we've not had a lot of luck getting these in. We did get 7 or 8 of them in on one landowner a couple years ago. Talking with that landowner, he was very happy with his results. Because of that, he talked with a couple other landowners, and we've got 13 of them going in this. Actually, they started putting them in today. So they're working on that. This was done through the GLRI funds also. This does provide 100% cost share for the project. Saturated buffers. The first saturated buffer in Mercer County was installed in 2016 using the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative funds, which was received by actually PF in Mercer County. Mercer County worked with Wright State Lake Campus to research the buffer's efficiency. Paper was published through the Peer J Journal in 2020. Those are some of the information from that journal. The second saturated buffer was installed in 2020, utilizing the Ohio EPA Section 319 funding. The Blanchard Demonstration Farm then committed additional funds to monitor that practice in 2021 and 2022, which was completed by Wright State Lake Campus in Mercer County. The research was published in 2024 in the Journal of Soil and Water Conservation. A few excerpts from those papers shown up there. Big takeaways: the buffer's ability to hold water. The charts show that it also reduces both soluble reactive phosphorus and nitrates. So one of the big things we've been working on recently is two-stage ditches. So this was the first two-stage ditch we did in 2019. This was an old railroad bed that drained a section of Salina. In 2019, we utilized Great Lakes Restoration Initiative grant received by the commissioners. The Soil and Water and the county did all the design and oversight on the engineering and construction. It cost about $300,000 for 1,700 linear feet of two-stage ditch, along with 1.3 acres of wetland enhancement. We used competitive bid for this process, put it out to lowest bidder, and it's still looking good to this day. So the next one I'm going to talk about is the Houts two-stage ditch. It was constructed September 2023 through the beginning of 2024. First ODA H2 Ohio ditch project, but our third two-stage ditch done in Mercer County. The biggest challenge we'd have is excess spoil. So this ditch had an excess of 14,000 cubic yards of dirt. So where do you go with that? The area along the ditch is pretty flat. So that created its own sets of problems. We received the grants through the Mercer County Soil and Water Administrative Funds. The other big issue is the Soil and Water has to upfront that money through the H2 Ohio to start with until we get the project completed. So that can be a little bit of a challenge. The county's a contracting agency, so they took care of all that paperwork, and then it also took prevailing wage. So that made the project a little more expensive than our typical tile projects. We also went through the petition process for it. So this is under county maintenance moving forward. So it will be maintained in perpetuity as far as that goes. So the landowners do receive a bill on their taxes for maintenance. So if there's any issues that do arise, that can be maintained and taken care of. So we also did, you can see the 3 wetlands that were constructed alongside that ditch. Is not necessarily part of the project, but those landowners decided that it made the most sense as opposed to trying to farm those small pieces of ground on the opposite side of the ditch. So those were done under the CRP or CREP program. We did have a large flooding event in April 2024, put the project to the test as far as that goes. We did have to go back out there and make some fixes after that because the grasses weren't stable yet since we just got it seeded and constructed. We did also do another tile project in conjunction with this 2-stage ditch. It seems anymore that we do a 2-stage ditch and then they also want to replace the tile main. So that was done through the petition process as a separate project. At the same time, we replaced about 13,000 feet of tile. Starts off as a 30-inch and goes down to 8. The cost for that project is about $440,000. So our second H2 Ohio project that we worked on in 2024, 6,300 feet of 2-stage ditch. which was replacing approximately 4,300 feet of old main. So the landowners decided that it made more sense to see if the state's going to provide H2 Ohio dollars to fix these gullies as opposed to putting a new main in. They just wanted to build a ditch. So we built the two-stage ditch out there. This is some of the worst erosion I've seen in Mercer County in my 25 years. It's pretty bad. So the project included the replacement of several tile mains in conjunction with this. Those started with about 8,200 feet of 24-inch all the way down to 8-inch tile along with this project. So here's what that ditch looks like now as far as that goes. Started construction last fall in July. Finished the ditch in September. Pretty good working conditions. We didn't like the dry weather, but it worked well for the ditch construction. Didn't have a lot of water issues running through it. Some challenges, once again, is spoil. There was 33,000 yards moved on this project. Since we were building a whole new open ditch through one section, that's a lot of dirt. That's a lot of dirt to go someplace. So that created its own problem. And then undesirable soils, some sections of that open ditch were pretty soft and sandy, and we didn't want to have that undercut later on, so we had to repack some clay around that to make that work. And then some human factors with producers not paying attention to our meetings and not coming to talk to us about stuff, so that created additional concerns. So here's kind of what it looks like right now. Once again, constructed using the H2 Ohio money. There's 940 acres draining through it, 6,300 feet, 4 landowners involved directly with the project as far as where the ditch was installed, and we had just under $400,000 for the whole project. Harner, Dickey, Waddell, two-stage. So we started construction last fall. We got 5,800 linear feet with 4 landowners. Once again, 940 acres of ag drainage going through there. It was petitioned to put the ditch under county maintenance. So we held the view in 14. The first hearing is actually next week. Second hearing date will be in April, and then the project will be bid. Design and the permitting is completed. I do want to talk a little bit about the petition process. So all of our two-stage ditches are being put under county maintenance so that they can be maintained. So as far as moving forward, once they're installed, they're not going to just be left go. So we usually end up with a request for a project, hold an informational meeting, talk to landowners, see if there's really just one person interested or how many people are interested in that. We then go to a signed petition. From the signed petition to survey design, the Soil and Water Board sets a meeting up for the view and the hearing, the dates. Then we hold the view and the hearing. If the Soil and Water passes the view and hearing, it goes to the commissioners. From the commissioners, if it approved there, the maintenance money gets set up, and hopefully, if we got a grant, the grant money will pay for the project. Then it goes out for bid, and then the Soil and Water oversees construction and moves forward, and the project gets put on the taxes for the following year. Howick two-stage ditch. This was our second project that we did. It was done with a cost share from EPA and US EPA. Was installed in 2021, 2,900 feet. Did this project with just one landowner, but the next landowner beside it came back and said, I want to do another project. I want to extend this, which seems to be how it works. So the green ditch, planned for construction this summer, Ohio EPA and GLRI funding. 2,300 acre watershed, includes both ag and the city of Salina. Trees along the ditch have already been removed in preparation for construction to meet the BAT law requirements as far as that goes. So it's ready to get construction once we get here to some decent weather. The estimated construction cost is $700,000. We got just under 11,000 feet of ditch. We are doing a combination of two-stage and standard ditch out here. There's some houses that are located within 100 feet of that ditch. So those sections are going to be maintained as standard ditch. And we also had a section of the ditch that was heavily rip-wrapped. So we're going to leave that as standard ditch. And another section where we're doing half the ditch as two-stage, so one side's getting blown out into the two-stage, and then the rest of the other side's going to be maintained as a standard ditch. Excavation on this one is just under 33,000 yards, so we got to find a place for that to go. As far as that placement of that dirt portions, so that's our project for this summer. The Mormon ditch was started last fall. It's currently under construction. Got frozen, so we had to stop. EPA GLRI funding for that, 600-acre watershed, almost 3,600 linear feet. Estimated cost is $200,000. Plan for spring construction and finish up here on that one. And then Teresa wanted me to talk a little bit about wetlands as far as that goes, constructed wetlands. Utilizing the CREP, Lake Erie CREP program. This landowner enrolled his whole farm. Two different projects. You can see the ditch over here. The Blydorfer ditch is right here along that east side. So it typically would overflow and come out of the ditch and then go through that culvert. You can see that culvert right in the middle between the two houses and flood that whole bottom section. So he came and talked to us and said, well, what can I do with this ground? Farmer's not real happy about it. It's a mess. It floods on a regular basis. About time the crops look great. So we talked to him about it and said, well, you know, we can go through the CRP and look at doing this wetland on this side. So we did that in 2021, constructed that, 8.4 acres of wetland and mud flat and another 14 acres of grass buffer behind it. He liked it so well, came back and said, well, let's put the rest of it in. What can I do? Farmer, you know, there's high tensile utility lines that come through here. You can hardly see them here, but there's a tower back here. It's all cut up. It's not the best farm as far as that goes to farm. So what are my other options? So we put the rest of it in. So that 80-acre farm is now wetland. Treats water coming when it overflows out of the Blydorfer ditch, which the green ditch, which we're looking at doing a two-stage ditch on, we're working on right now, comes into the Blydorfer right down here. So we're kind of stacking those practices up, trying to do the best we can as far as adding water quality improvements. And the last one Teresa wanted me to talk about was, this is a picture from 1995 along the St. Mary's River. 2022, 5 different landowners right through here installed wetlands. They identified those areas as marginal to the best crop ground, floods on a regular basis. The CRP program, the CREP program made sense to them. So you got one set here, another set in this corner, third, fourth, and a fifth set up here. So this area floods on a regular basis, and they don't have to worry about whether it floods or not. They get a payment from Uncle Sam. And with that, got any questions? BJ. So on the, yep. So on the metal shavings, we ended up getting it out of OmniSource in Lima. It was a challenge. They didn't want to give it up. They wanted paid before it came off. They wanted to make sure he had money in the bank sitting there to take the metal shavings off. Getting it wasn't probably as big as the question as how do you mix metal shavings that are curly out in the field without mixing it in the middle of the field. So we ended up dumping some pea gravel in there. Our excavator was a pretty good excavator operator. So they dumped some in there, mixed them together, and spread them out in the modified blind inlet. So it actually worked out a lot better than I thought it might, because we were a little concerned. We went with the modified blind inlet instead of a Hickenbottom because the producer didn't want to farm around anything. He just wanted to run through the whole farm. No tills, just wanted to plant it. So that was kind of what we were thinking, trying to find another source, another option as far as the wasp cobs and blind inlet combination. On the dirt coming out of the two-stage ditch, a lot of it's gotten used for road projects. So that's kind of worked out for some of the contractors to utilize that dirt. We do have 2 large piles still left from the Sweeterman Baldoff project. Some of it's going to get used for a or for a road widening. Um, the other landowner wanted to keep all their dirt, so they ask us to pile it up. So they're going to plan to mix it in with, I assume, some mulch and manure and try to sell it as topsoil. Any other questions? Yes. Most of them, I'll say it that way. That human factor, I think most of them like it. You know, what they really like is that whether it's a state or the feds are paying for the project, so they don't have to worry about that cost share or that dollars coming out of their pocket. Um, I think we got a couple guys that are playing conservation bingo. Every time we come out with a new project, they're looking for something. So we've got quite a few requests. Teresa and me have talked about, hey, maybe we should slow down and try to get what we've got on the docket done. And then someone else will walk in and say, hey, I want to do another two-stage ditch. So yeah, most of them seem to like it. That reconnection of the floodplain, keeping that water in there, makes a difference. All right. Thank you very much.